What's up, guys? So I've got a trailer full of 2x6s and some screws and 2x4s to brace the floor to the frame, and I'm going to bring those in and get started on it. Okay guys, so here's the plan. I'm just going to stand behind you so I can try and see what you're seeing. Basically, boy, it's hard to get out of the light on this. Let me aim you guys a little different here, sorry. See if that's any better. Yeah, that should work. So the plan is, our overall dimensions of the trailer outside of the tires are 7 wide by 9 long. And if I divide for even joist spacing, that leaves me with 6 floor joists. Or actually I should say 4, because we have the 2 edges and then 4 in the middle. And that should leave us with 14-inch joist spacing on the floor. So what we've got to do is cut a couple of 7-footers, and then we're going to run, actually these are going to be 3 inches shorter than 7 feet, so they'll be 6'9" to make up for the thickness of our 2 sideboards on the outside. So we'll have 2 9-footers and 2 6'9"-footers. So we're going to start with that, make a picture frame, and then fill it in with our 4 6'9", no, sorry, these will be 9, so these will be 8'9" joists. So I'll get started with that, set you guys up, and see you in a minute. I take it back, we're actually at 9 foot 1.5 inches, which is kind of an odd measurement, but it's going to be nice to have our full length be, or depth, however you look at it, be flooring instead of having an overhang or not being long enough. So that's what we'll go with. our two outsides on the left and right. And now, initially we had, I think, about 7 feet across from left to right. But now, since these are 1.5 inches thick on each side, we're going to subtract 3 inches from that and sandwich our center board. So let's just make sure with a measurement that that's accurate. Should be about 6'9" here. It's going to be 6'8". 6'8". Check this out, I don't have my cordless impact driver here, so I'm just going to run it with my air impact. Pretty ridiculous. You guessed it, the battery on the camera died, and so there's quite a bit that you likely didn't see. I haven't uploaded the or imported the footage yet to know where it died at, but this is where I'm at now. I've got all the joists done, and I'll show you that in a second. The next step is going to be to add our, I don't really have a name for them, stringers or braces to tie the floor or attach the shed basically to the frame. And those are just going to be, I was originally thinking 2x4s, which I think is going to be plenty. What I'm looking to do is the second joist on each side, so this one and that one, are flush with this boxed portion of the frame right here. So I'm going to run this is probably 6, 7, like 8 inches. I'm going to run a series of 8-inch 2x4s, probably one here. We might skip where the tire's at and then run another 2 there and another 2 there, and the same thing over here. And then those are going to be bolted to the frame and either leg bolted or screwed or something very secure to the 2x6. So that's what that'll look like. I'll show you what I ended up doing with the joists. I ran out of long enough material to run a one-piece joist, so I used the 2 longest ones I had on the outside so that it looks nice, and then for the 4 on the inside I just ran a little, I can't think of my terminology right now, but I ran these, I think these are called stringers, correct me if I'm wrong, but this has about a 12-inch overhang on each side, and then a series of 5 staggered screws holding each of those together. And they're all pretty close to flush, so that's going to look pretty good and be plenty strong, because the way I did it is the outside 2 are running right on top of the frame, and then the inside 2, they're half the width of this cross member right here. So they're completely supported for the most part, and that's going to be fine. One thing that you might have seen on the first clip, I'm not sure if it would have cut off before this or not, but this joist had a serious twist in it. It was twisted about an inch, if not more, out in this direction, and it was so much that I couldn't pull it in with the screws. So what I ended up doing, it's a little bit unfortunate, but I think it'll be okay, is just running a big leg bolt with a washer on it and sucking that in. And it did put a little bit of a split in the board here, but it didn't split this board, so that's kind of nice. And this is going to get stained or painted anyway, and I don't think it'll be a big deal. So it's mostly just appearance at this point. And it won't be that big of a deal if I want to pick up another board and remove this and screw a new one on. But being kind of a budget build, I might just go with it. So that's what that looks like. The overall size, and as you can see, it looks real good. It's nice and flush all the way around with the frame. So we got the maximum size that we could get out of it, and we could have even oversized it a little bit, but for the purposes of going down the road with this and things like that, I wouldn't want it hanging out more than the frame. So not that it'll go down the road a whole lot, but anyway, the overall size is, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, I think 6'11" wide, and it is 9'11½", I'm pretty sure. No, sorry, 8'11½" in length. So it's going to be a nice size. And I'll kind of stand back and outline what the rest of the design is going to look like. If you can just picture this. So right now we're obviously 6 inches above the trailer, and the trailer is, I want to say, about 1.5 feet off the ground. I don't have the tape measure handy, but let's just say that we're 2 feet off the ground. So from there, our peak, the way I've got it drawn up and everything, is going to be 7.5 feet to the peak, and then our walls on each side are going to be 6 feet. So, and I need to measure actually across the street at the lumberyard. They've got some prefab sheds, and sitting out, basically right out in my front yard, is an A-frame shed with pretty similar dimensions. And I'm going to measure their A-frame roof and see just what the kind of the rise ends up looking like, because I want my roof to look like theirs. And just in my head, it seemed like from 6 foot here up to 7.5, so a 1.5 foot rise would be about right. But we've just got to see what theirs is, and hopefully I'm right with that. So anyway, we'll have 6 foot walls all the way around, and then a 7.5 foot peak, and something a little bit odd, it's going to have a like a walk-in door, where most sheds would have like French doors. They'll have dual doors or a roll-up door. This is going to have just a narrow, like a 30-inch walk-in door, and the door is going to be 6.5 feet. So it's going to look a little funny having the door taller than the walls, but that'll be fine. And the wall height might change a little bit based on what the shed across the street is using for dimensions. So that was the goal for today, was just to get the floor framed in. And on the next video, I think we'll try and get this tied down to the metal frame, and then we'll sheet the top of it, and we should at least be able to get started on our walls, but we'll see. I've got to at least run the wiring for the lights out the back. I want to do that before I cover it up, and it's hard to get to. So we'll try and get the wiring wrapped up, get the joists tied down, and get sheeted, and just see where we end up. So that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.